What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to your absolute favorite podcast that you've ever listened to in your entire life, which we like to call Man Card.
Yeah.
To start off the show, we always do a lovely quote of the week, and Noah's got a fantastic one. Hit it to me.
I am the eyes and ears of this institution. Hillary Rodham Clinton.
Hit it. All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Man Card. We got some crazy news. That's something I never thought would ever happen. Noah, spill the news, please.
Yes, I am gay. No, I'm kidding.
Oh. Wait, that's not it?
Oh, that's...
Does Ellie know? Oh, Ellie's the cover.
She's the...
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm Elton John. I get a girlfriend and fiance just for show. But no,
Even worse, give him the real news.
I know, even worse. I got offered a job.
Yeah, you're employed.
I'm supposedly employed. Haven't accepted it yet, but I don't know. I'm not sure.
What company? What company?
Oh, okay, so I got a job offer from Sherwin-Williams.
Okay.
In their sales development division.
You ain't going to be out there painting?
No, you know what? Surprisingly, no. They have people for that are better than myself, unfortunately.
So you're lower on the totem pole. They got
you know what?
Paint CEO, painters, scum,
and then
there's you.
Yeah, I'm way down at the bottom.
All right.
But yeah, they offered me a position. Obviously, I'm waiting on the paperwork to see like what that's going to end up kind of meaning. But I might accept it. I might not, depending on what the deal is. Because one of the things about the position that I haven't told you yet is you are training under a territory manager for 3 months.
Explain territory manager. Just somebody like a Canton manager or like.
So it's like most sales development positions are you're working with whatever link to the company you have. So like for instance, with Sherwin-Williams, they have I think their main distributor aside from their self-owned stores are Lowe's stores. So they have a strong deal. I think it's like Sherwin-Williams and two other like smaller paint companies have exclusive deals with Lowe's stores. So the territory manager themselves has 4 or 5 stores, the Lowe's stores that they manage. They keep up connections with. They go in, make sure everything's good, and talk to the upper management, make sure how they're selling the paint, because it's like half the battle is selling the paint to Lowe's. Then the other half is making sure that paint gets out the door again. So that's making sure keeping up connections with the, corporate overlords that are in Lowe's, and also making sure keeping up relationships with those who, like contractors, those who come in and are the ones buying the paint from the stores. So they have 4 or 5 stores. So I'd be training under somebody that is a territory manager for like 3 months. And then I might be misunderstanding it, but I'm pretty sure after those 3 months, you get your own territory. I think that's
your
right.
Own territory.
Yeah.
You got to claim it, kind of like an animal.
Well,
Like,
you know what? Like
leave your business somewhere.
you pee in the corner,
Yeah.
and then like that's the pee.
That's
corner.
what I figured.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like the end of training. Like, you know how a lot of people they get their kai cut off. No, kai. Wow.
They get their kai fish,
whatever
the
the
koi
hell
pond.
I just said. They get their tie cut off whenever you hit a certain amount of money you've sold or you're done with training. So yours is you got to piss in the corner.
Yeah,
That's
I have to piss in the corner. I have to pull my. I would say full frontal, but it's just moon.
Oh shoot!
The entire corporate structure of Sherwin-Williams, and they're like, not our cup of tea, so you're fired. Or it's like that's it.
That's what we've been
been
waiting for. Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. We'll see what it turns out to be, because with it comes they don't know necessarily where an open territory is going to be. So that could be in Miami, that could be in North Carolina, that could be in Atlanta or North Atlanta.
Oh, they might ship you somewhere else.
Yeah, so that's one part of it that I'm not nervous about. But with, being obviously engaged to Ellie, and she still has a year of school to finish, it's like, would I like to be away from Ellie in our, engagement year?
Hell yeah. I'm just I didn't say
edit
it.
that part out. No, no, of course not. Like, I definitely don't want to be away from her, but like, you know, both Ellie and myself are having to continually remind ourselves of the long term. So like, you know, we are now moved back home. Well, I mean, she is, because she didn't renew her lease on her apartment, because we were thinking we were gonna get an apartment together,
Yeah.
as most young engaged folk do.
This is a quick side note. Okay, so engaged. You're gonna get a
Yeah,
place
yeah.
together before y'all get married and such.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Well, we were thinking about it. Now we're not. Well,
okay,
think
so
about-
it's confirmed then.
yeah, we're confirmed not.
Wait, you're confirmed not moving in together.
Yes.
Okay, why?
Twofold.
Unless I missed that.
Twofold. One, Ellie's parents are wonderful people, but with their upbringing has been implanted with them this
I know where this is
a
going.
little bit more sensitivity towards spending money,
Oh,
which is fine.
That took a different turn. Okay.
Well, also the sensitivity just for like traditional.
Yeah, that's where I was
Yeah,
thinking. you
so
were going.
both for
okay.
sure. But the biggest decision factor for Ellie and I, because we have fine morals, like we're not going off the reservation to try to do anything crazy, but we're just tired of not living together. So that was the main factor for us that we wanted to move in. But if you think of it in terms of her parents are sensitive, with a little bit more sensitive of spending money, and if they're spending money on our wedding, which not obligated to do. If you ever listen to this episode, we didn't want you to or require you to pay for this. You offered. Thank you, by the way. But they're generously offering to spend some money on the wedding. And how would it look? Because obviously we've gotten the whole like, well, I paid for my wedding, kind of thing. And so when it comes down to it, it's like, what's it going to look like if in the next 8-9 months we go off, get an apartment, and blow a bunch of money on ourselves in the face of them generously paying for our wedding?
wedding, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like,
do they pay for? You don't really have to answer this in front of everybody, but do they pay for her apartment right now, or does she pay for it?
no.
How does that go? Because you said that she didn't re-sign the lease, so obviously there was payment.
Well, she didn't sign that. Well, she's obviously on the payment, so she was paying in tandem with her roommates.
Okay.
But I think, if I'm not mistaken, no, she's paid for it because she has jobs, like she's paying for it. Because her dad wanted her to, like, you need to pay for your apartment, like that's your deal or whatever if you want to do that, which is everybody raises their kids differently.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily I wasn't raised under the household of saying like, okay, now I have to go out and fundraise for my college tuition or go out and get 3 jobs for to pay for tuition.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, I worked my ass off, I got scholarships and worked at Georgia Tech so that I brought that bill down, and my parents were very grateful because they wanted to pay for my college, but it only ended up being a couple $1,000s a year.
Yeah. So it takes a second for things to click for me. So just recap on that. So I kind of get it now. So she's going to live at home this last school year.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
She's not going into another apartment. They don't want y'all spending money.
Well,
saying that
we
you
don't
don't
want them to think poorly of our financial decisions if we just go out and
then
spend
go
a
ask
bunch of
them,
money.
and then they have to pay. They pay for the wedding. No,
Yeah.
that makes sense. My parents do the same thing.
And it's not like we are so self-conscious about spending. I mean, it is our money. We would be spending our money on an apartment. I would obviously have a job, whatever. But I put it in this perspective, and Ellie was like, "Okay, let's do that." So, like, picture this: live at home for the next year. You get a free $20,000. That's it. For me, I'm going to put away in a savings account whatever the rent amount would have been for rent over the next 9-10 months.
And if you think, okay, is it actually 20,000? Did you do the number? Okay, you do that, and if she does even any of that, I mean, that's a down payment on a house.
There's a down payment on a house.
So you don't even have to go into apartment living or.
Well, that's the thing. We don't have to.
Yeah.
Or we can take a portion of that. Like, she's obviously working too, so she'll have saved money. So then we can take a portion of that, spend it on a nice honeymoon, and then still have enough for a down payment on a house. Or, if we want to buy an apartment or whatever, like, we have that extra flexible cash to say, like, okay, we can reinvest this if we're just going to live in an apartment temporarily, after she graduates and after we get married. Or if we really know where we're going to settle down, we can definitely put a down payment on a house. Ellie's more of the mindset that she wants to go a little, like, let's go somewhere crazy. Like let's go live in England or something.
I was gonna say, let's go to Florida.
Yeah, right. And I'm like, how do you set up an account in the Cayman Islands to avoid the 50% tax rate over in England? But I'm like, but seriously, I'm like,
Yeah.
Realistically, that probably won't happen. And I say that to her too. I'm like, yeah, that's cool,
Yeah.
but realistic, to be determined.
Yeah. Well, you're going back to the whole job thing.
Yeah.
We talked about your job offer. You already mentioned me. You're kind of working now. You kind of got a little bit of a dream job.
I did.
Side gig.
Well, it was really out of desperation because I was like tired of not doing anything. I was literally just sitting at home sleeping. I was doing nothing. Like
Yeah.
I'm really bad when I don't have like a schedule.
Something to get up to. So am I.
Yeah.
If I don't have a reason to get up, I mean,
I'm not
I
getting up.
convince myself whenever I set my alarm for 8 a.m. that I thought I was going to get up to, thinking like, I really ain't got shit to do. Why am I getting up?
Why am I getting up?
Why
Yeah.
I put myself through it? Yeah.
And so I'm like, no, like I'm good.
Yeah.
And so I, out of desperation for my sanity, I put in a random Tuesday night for positions, like caddy positions. Because Evans, my best man, Evans, and
Not
myself.
Mitchell.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, Mitchell. I don't like you that much. This is a purely functional
Yeah, we already said I got to
situation.
kill, 5 people?
5 people to
make
be
the
best
spot?
man. Yeah. That's yet to happen, so we'll see. But
Have you talked to Evans in a while?
oh no,
I'm just kidding.
But yeah, so Evans and I have been playing a lot of golf recently, trying to get all the guys that are groomsmen on board, but everybody's super busy. And so I have this I used to have lessons when I was a kid, and I hadn't played in a while, but I recently have taken it back up again. Just in the light of we're going to be playing a lot of golf when we're together with our boys, whether that be for the bachelor party or just the week before the wedding.
Of course, yeah.
Obviously, I mean, as one does. And so I took up this position. I took a caddy position. So I'm caddying at this golf club, and it's awesome. Like, it's so great. And it's so funny because, like, in today's culture, everybody sees golf as, like, hyper elitist and, like, you're an a-hole if you have a membership at a golf club and, like, all this stuff. But what I've really come to find is it's an escape. Like, being able to caddy for these, literally I'm caddying for, like, these CEOs, CFOs.
That's nuts.
Which is nuts.
That's awesome.
Which
It's not even about the money anymore.
Yeah, it's not about the money anymore. It's about definitely making connections. And so I was like I realized very quickly, like, these guys aren't here to be dicks. You know what I mean? Like, they're not here because they're, like, super mean. They're here because they have a ton going on in the world. Like, they're running multi-million-dollar companies, and they don't have any escape. Like, they go home and they can still be reached. You know what I mean?
They're not stressing about the business anymore. They're stressing about what driver they're going to use.
Well, literally, we got on the course and we were out there, and one of the guys was like shanking it, and there were 4 guys in the group, so we had a couple caddies in the crew, and we were out there, and one of the fellow players, I think one of the guys was a member at this club, and he brought his friends, but he kept saying, "Get your head out of the office." Because they know, like, they have this level of understanding. They're like, we're talking like super high C-suite people, and they're like, get out of the office, man. Like you can't live your life day by day with your mind space being in the office all the time. Because that's what those guys do. I mean, they've literally slaved their entire work experience just grinding so hard to get up to the C-suite position. That's all they know. And so for them to go out there and, me in this caddy role, my job is to take the burden off of them as much as possible. So, like, if their club is dirty, I'm cleaning it. If they nice, beautiful long shot, they land on the green, I'm handing them their putter. Nice long walk with a putter is always very nice. And so it's like you get to kind of champion and cheerlead these guys who honestly probably get beat down really hard every single day in their job.
See, I feel like if I was in their position, yeah, work is stressful. But I'm a dude that I've played video game golf games, and I get pissed. Like, golf wouldn't be an escape from an office. It would be like, I gotta blow some fucking steam off. And,
Yeah. Go hit a punching bag or something.
Yeah, or hit a golf ball, or I'm telling you.
You were telling me before we started that you're a range guy.
Oh yeah, that's why I love hitting the crap out of the ball. Putting is the no. Oh, you want to see me get mad? Let's go to putt.
Dude, it's so funny because last summer I worked with Jackson Coker, and they had like their facilities baller. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So they have like 2 restaurants, like somebody will cut your hair and all this stuff.
Oh jeez.
Because I mean, it's a bunch of people there.
You know they're doing that at basketball games now. You can sit up in the basketball. Yeah, you can sit up way in one of the suites, and someone will give you a haircut while you watch the Hawks game. That's crazy. But anyway, go on.
I mean, it's a $200 haircut, but yeah,
yeah.
But yeah, and so they had putting greens. Like, I mean, putting. I see putting
Yeah, yeah.
greens. It's like a tiny putt-putt course
Mhm.
on the side of the building that they added, and we went out there probably once or twice every single day last summer. We were interning because it's like we're just interns, and so
They don't expect you to do too much anyway.
Yeah.
They expect you to screw around.
well, they want us to have a little fun and take
Exactly.
advantage of the facility and like
Yeah. My last one, they did that too.
Yeah. because they're not like they don't want to work us to the grindstone. You put in the good work.
Mm-hmm.
You leave yourself a little luxury to do kind of what you want, and boy did we work. So we went out and putt every single day, and so my short game on the golf course, kick ass. Like I've all of a sudden become a baller putter. My long game, I've been focusing on hitting with the driver a ton. So my long game, not that bad. What
That mid game, bro.
mid-game, dude.
Yeah. No one
Falls
practices
apart.
that. You can go to a driving range, and yeah, if you want to try your mid game, you
Yeah.
can, but no one does.
Yeah.
And then you can go to putt, little monster golf, and do your little putt, and you get
Yeah.
practice.
But this is the thing is like nobody even if you take out your irons on the range. I try to. My favorite club happens to be the 7-iron. So I get out there, you practice, you run up through the clubs, you get your woods out, you get your driver, you get your irons, and you're out there, you're practicing. And it doesn't like let's say this. Okay. Whenever you hit your driver, always perfect conditions. Right? It's range conditions every single time you hit your driver. Off the tee box, perfect, right? You're on the putting green. Your putting conditions, I mean, maybe the green's a little wet or whatever. But
Yeah.
even if you go
Yeah.
to a driving range, the putting green there is like still grass, whatever. Perfect conditions. If you hit irons or woods off of the tee box in a driving range, it's perfect conditions. But if you take those same clubs and you hit a little mishit with your driver and it lands in a little bit high rough, or even in the high rough, you're all of a sudden shooting a shot you've never practiced for.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't practice for that unless you're
Unless
on
you're
the
playing
course.
golf, yeah. Unless you're
And,
actually, yeah.
and so you get out there and you're like, well, crap,
Oh shit.
I can't make this shot.
Mhm.
And that's the thing. You end up just like,
Yep.
like,
that
beating
that's
down
right
on
there.
it.
That's where I'm getting pissed.
and I'm
right
like,
there.
So that piece of golf, I think, is one of the most frustrating parts of golf for any golfer. Just because it's like it's the shots that unless you have access to a facility or to a club or to a whatever, you're not gonna get the practice for that.
Well, if you also think of just human nature, even if you had the ability to practice your mid range all the time, that'd still be the least thing most people would practice. Because
Yeah, right.
putting, you're putting the ball in the hole, so there's that's exciting. You make the putt, it's great. Driving range, you're killing the ball. That's just fun.
That's fun too.
Mid range, you're doing neither usually. Yes, you're aiming
Yeah.
for the hole, but I mean, you almost never make it when you're.
Yeah, if you do, it's
That's phenomenal.
89% luck.
Exactly. So I mean, even if you could practice it, I mean,
Yeah, I mean when it comes down to it, it's like you're hitting. It's one of the least fun, like you're saying, the
Mhm.
least fun parts of that game, and it's just functionality wise when you're on the course and you're running through the clubs, it's an awkward play because you get out there and not only do you have to take into account what club you're hitting from where you're hitting the ball from, but also how far you still have to the pin. So like let's say you hit a shank shot, you find your ball, it's in between trees in the rough, and you still got 150 yards to the pin. It's like I'd love to get my fairway wood and just whack it on up to the green, but now all of a sudden I have to get my 60-degree pitching wedge and chip it back onto the fairway and avoid all these trees. It's like it just becomes a burden instead of
yeah.
like enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
Which I totally get you. I totally get it.
Yeah.
I still love it though.
I'm
It's
sure
fun.
you do. A lot of people. That's just it's their thing. Like for whatever reason, some people like soccer.
I
But it's
don't
just
get
their
that.
thing. So
I don't get soccer.
I don't get soccer either. But
It's like what counter counts up?
oh yeah, in terms of The game ending?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What counter counts up? In any game, find another game where the counter goes up.
That is so dumb. I agree.
I want to bring up real quick because you've been working extremely hard,
Oh yeah, busting
your butt, rolling out of bed 3 feet, and turning on your computer with your internship.
It's like 5 feet. Come on.
5 feet?
It's a lot. Yeah.
Honestly, all
it's
bets
tough.
are off, dude. Honestly, just get
Like
out
I
of
have
bed.
to get out of the bed to get to my desk.
So how's your internship going?
It's going very well. I can honestly say, I've had 2 internships in the past. This is the best one by far.
Is it really?
Okay, for quite a few reasons actually. So one, I've gotten to this routine that it's actually just bettered my life, where I start at 10 a.m. because it's California time, so I'm starting a little bit later than normal. So yes, I end later, so like 6:30. That kind of sucks. But I've gotten myself to get out of my bed early and get my workout done in the morning, which now I love.
Oh, okay.
I love morning workouts, so that just makes my days longer. I'm not waking up at 9:30 then going straight into work and just being
Yeah,
like waking up thinking like, dang, I just got to go straight to work. So I get a workout in. I'm feeling great. I got a routine where I make breakfast, then I start work.
Yeah.
And then I go through my work day. Everything's fine, which is honestly, it's kind of fun work. I know it sounds stupid. This is the nerd in me, but coding. My past 2 internships, I haven't got to do much coding.
Ew, what a nerd.
Yeah, well, I like the code. It's my favorite. It's my thing.
So
anyway,
what are you doing? Like, what are you coding?
Okay, so I'm gonna keep it as base
So like,
level as
I'm a
possible.
business major
That was awesome.
that has rubbed shoulders with coders.
I know how to spell
keep it
coding.
low.
So basically, the whole company is Palo Alto Networks. It is a firewall company, security
Right.
company,
Sure.
cybersecurity. I am basically just doing little things that people have to do manually. Like they have to take these logs, run a test, make sure everything matches. And if you do that manually, it's very tedious.
Sure.
I'm just taking things like that, tests that they run manually, writing code, and just telling code, hey, 10 a.m. every day, do this, give me the results. So that's basically what I'm doing. And I love all of it because every single test is different. I'm
Right.
not doing the same kind of test. I'm not just checking this and this every single time. It's different platforms, and I'm learning a lot about a firewall, which I had no prior knowledge. So that's great. My manager, amazing. Like
Super.
the nicest person.
Makes a
Everybody
big
on the
difference.
team, ridiculously nice.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. And then literally the only bad thing that's gone on so far is the fact that I'm not in California when I should be.
Right.
Like I almost feel like California's a myth. Like it's not real. I just can't get to it. Like last year I tried to get this internship, didn't get it. I finally got it this year. I was so excited, ready to go out of California because my friend said it was the greatest summer in the world. And I just can't get there. Like
Yeah.
I want to book a trip to go visit him, and
yeah.
like I'm gonna die on my way there. Like it's just it doesn't exist.
That's the thing now is like I don't know if it's California only, but I mean obviously we're in coronavirus, so we have to talk about coronavirus. But
oh, we're not wearing masks. Oh.
shoot,
think about
we're
that
not
one,
social
yeah.
distancing. Arrest us now, social police. But with California, I don't know if it is California or it's just New York or certain places. I know Texas had a order in place that anybody coming from New York had to mandatory quarantine for 14 days.
New York had the same thing for Georgia, or they just
Coming from Georgia?
Yeah, coming from Georgia or anywhere
Wild.
here in the South. Yes.
Yeah.
California, I don't know if they have that or not. I don't think
They,
so.
honestly, they're California. They probably have it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, they have. Yeah, they have. Everything. They have.
Obviously,
everything.
don't fact check us. Don't do it. I see you. Don't you dare. But yeah, it's so weird to think that like even if you went to go visit now, like you would have to throw yourself into a hazmat suit to get on the plane.
Exactly.
I mean, unless you want a road trip, that's a hell of a road
Yeah.
trip.
No, I'm good.
Throw yourself in just complete PPE to get on the plane. You finally get there, and then you have to sit in a room for 14 days. Like, and the beaches are starting to close again, and everything. All the attractions are closed. There's no bars are open.
Yeah.
Like,
that's the main reason. My roommate, who's getting a full-time position, he starts beginning of August.
no way.
And his lease starts
Out in California?
Yeah, out in California, and his lease starts the end of July, and he doesn't want to go because he's going to move out there, move all his stuff into a room, and then everything's closed, and he's just going to sit there and then work from home because they're going to start remote.
Well, it sounds like my dad worked out in LA for a while. He was in the DGA training program, and then he became assistant director, second assistant director, and he told me about his time out there because I obviously I like film, I like movies and all of that. I've made short films ever since I was a little kid, but when it came down to actual like would I want to pull the trigger to move to California to, put all my hopes and dream on a star and then hope something happens? No, because his stories are like, I would wake up at 4 a.m. and go to a set. Go out there, be yelled at, torn new ones for doing something like slightly not perfect. And I've been on a couple film sets of my own, and it's very true.
Oh, I bet.
And he's out there, he's like, and we'd work for like 16, 7, 18, 20-hour days. And then you get home, sleep for 4 hours, do the same thing again. And it's like, you know what? Let's leave the glamour to the movies. I don't know about the behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
I might end up doing something else. But yeah, man, it's brutal.
Yeah, I think when you think of places like that, I think of like New York, how brutal people are up there. Like the people that they have no filter, they'll yell at you, scream at you. But then I've heard a lot about California.
Yeah, right.
Where it's not necessarily they are straight up. They're not screaming at you mean, like, okay, so you think of a New York piece, like, hey, I'm walking here.
Yeah,
kinda
right.
Like that kind of thing. Whereas California people are going to, like, they're going to get low. They're going to say some, like, nasty, they're going to say mean things to you. It's like almost like subtweeting. It's almost, I think of it.
It's California is the real life reincarnation of what Twitter would be if it was a person.
Yeah. And then New York is straight up to your face, like, yo, you're off. Screw you, buddy.
Ironically, I've found that New York is exceedingly racist.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, think about it in terms of like what people are saying. So like up in New York, they're saying shit right to your face.
Oh yeah.
Right.
And
And
no
so
filter
like
at all.
And of course it's like, obviously it's a very diverse, crushed in place. And so all of a sudden you have all these different kinds of people operating in the same place and with no filter involved. Oh, come on. Like you walk on the subway and you're hearing slurs left and right.
Oh yeah.
Like from the times I've been there, just with my family, like you're walking on the street, everybody is smoking weed on the street. Like every person. I think they decriminalized I don't think they decriminalized smoking in public, but I think they decriminalized carrying
marijuana,
small amounts of marijuana. Yeah. And so everybody's smoking on the street and everybody is throwing slurs at everybody. Like, and obviously everybody's like honking their horn trying to get places. But it sounds kind of like music, like the.
Oh yeah, that's what people say. They love apartments up there and at night going to sleep just because you hear all the noise.
Because it doesn't sound
great.
mean. What sounds mean is people in Atlanta trying to get places.
Oh my god! Oh yeah, the road rage in Atlanta.
Oh my gosh!
I was thinking about that as you were talking. If anybody said half the crap that they do in New York down here in Atlanta,
incarcerated
fights.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it'd be 20 times worse. In New York, it's like,
that's a normal Tuesday.
You want to say hi to somebody? Yeah, hey, what's up, you little mother.
Yeah, right.
And that's it. And then here
it's
in
like,
Atlanta,
hey baby, why don't you smile a little more? And it's like, oh,
you're right.
You're right, but
thank you.
You're sexist.
Have a good day. Yeah, exactly. Here in Atlanta, you look at someone too long, you better watch out. They're coming for you.
Yeah, they're gonna get you. But yeah, that's the thing that's funny to me is like even with culture today, it's just like there's no stopping point. Like it just continues to roll along in this pattern of the goalpost is moving further and further. And I think everybody can admit that a little bit, where it's like, yes, do we want society to progress in a positive way? Obviously. Of
course, yeah.
Like find somebody who disagrees with that. But I think what we can disagree on is how we get there. So like, just for instance, let's just bring up the idea of like, we want to make schools safer. Everybody wants to make schools safer.
Mm-hmm.
Challenge you to find somebody who doesn't.
Yeah.
What we can disagree on is how do we do that?
Exactly.
Right? You have people that suggest, putting metal detectors at the doors. That's a valid option. You have people that suggest making them extreme gun-free zones and locking doors and, putting any number of loose precautions.
Well. Yeah.
Obviously, that's another option as well. But it's like, just because there's something X that needs to be solved doesn't mean that there's X that'll solve it.
Mm-hmm.
If we're going to solve any issue, you need to be able to put onto the table every possible option to potentially solve it, as patently absurd as they look or as stupid as they look. Mm-hmm. You gotta entertain them all, so you can systematically go through and say, okay, that doesn't work. Obviously, we've seen it not work here. Evidence, boom. Okay, done. This, and this. Finally, you'll eventually get to the correct solution.
And that's where issues arise, just because, you got people that believe in one certain solution. I mean, it happens in just anything. Think about just school projects.
Yeah, right.
You have an issue, you have a problem, and you're in a group setting. I think we should do it this way. No, I think we should do it that way. they both might freaking work, but
Yeah.
you know, you want to do your way, they want to do their. Yeah,
Well,
it's
I found this the most true with a club I used to be in at Tech. I don't want to spill the club because they already don't like me and they know who they are, but I don't want other people to say.
I don't know what to say.
Don't say it. Don't say it. But I was in this club, and when it came down to like voting people into positions, I mean, think of like a school election for like student council. It was never about like who's actually going to put Gatorade in the water fountains. You know what I mean? It was always like, I
Who do we
like
know?
that
Yep,
guy.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I like that guy. Vote for that guy. That guy's great. Or that chick's awesome. Vote
Yep.
for that chick. It's just a popularity contest. And so same thing with this club is like you get into this club and it's never really about true ability to do a role. If you are a grade A, everybody in this club likes me kind of guy or gal, and you go up for a position,
You're getting what you want.
you're going to get what you want. You're going to get what you want. As long as you've put yourself in a position where you have shown, you know, you're socially adept and can handle situations on the fly, as few as those examples may be, as long as you have the greater majority of the crowd on your side, you're going to get the position. And so, like, it comes down to exactly what you're saying with the group project. It's like everybody wants to put their stamp on the role. And so the same thing with this club is people get in the positions and they're like, I'm going to do it this way. That way may very well work. But is it the best way?
Yeah.
Slash, are you really wanting to do it that way, or do you just want to put your name on the thing that you're doing?
Yeah. And I don't want to harp on it too much just because, you know, it's that subject. But, I mean, that's the same thing in politics nowadays. It's not even about policies half the time anymore.
No.
It's more so about, like, oh, that guy's mean. He says dumb things. Oh, that guy's, you know, I don't like him because of his things that he says, or, you know, how he's looked at somebody or something. They don't even care anymore about policies. A lot of people do, but a lot of people don't. They're just like, oh, you know, I don't like the way he talks. I don't like, you know, the way he dresses. I don't like him, so I'm not going to vote for him.
Right.
I mean, both sides do it.
Oh, that's the
both
thing.
sides have
Everybody
great
does
policies.
it.
Both sides have great ideas. It's just a matter of now that it's coming to, I just hate him, and I just hate him. I hate him less, so I'm going to vote for him.
Well, yeah, because you're no longer voting. Like everybody today, and this is a bipartisan thing, is go out and vote, right? Everybody's pushing go out and vote. You know, whatever side of the aisle you fall on, everybody wants you to go out and vote because everybody knows nobody's going to vote. Because I think what in the last election, how many people did we have vote?
Like no clue.
I think we had
not an idea.
Almost 100,000 people vote.
Wait, that's it in the whole election?
I think the whole election.
You're kidding.
Let me look it up.
Yeah,
because
that's ridiculously low, I feel
let's
like.
see, how many people...
Quick fact check.
Yeah. In 2016, here we go.
That seems really low.
Yeah, dude.
No way.
Yeah, bro. Oh. Yeah. So its popular vote for each candidate was only about 65 million.
Oh. So it's not 100,000 people. It's
Yeah.
way more.
No, that's...
You just said 65 million.
Oh, no, yeah, that's what... Oh, did I say 1,000? I meant to say million.
Yes.
Yeah. So
he said 100,000 people. I was like,
oh, okay.
that's not even
100
Georgia.
million.
Okay.
So my point still stands. It's less than a third of the country.
Okay.
So if less than a third of the country is going out to vote, and in certain places, I'm sure the voter turnout is like hyper low. I mean, think of like rural areas, you know, where you have, you know, millions of people in just dispersed very sparingly throughout the entirety of Wyoming or whatever.
Yep.
Actually, Wyoming, I think, only has about 1 million people. But it's like, you know, really when it comes down to it, it's like there's a ton of people in this area and not a lot of them are voting. Why? And so everybody's trying to get everybody to vote. But, you know, obviously, I think 2016 is a great example. It's like we can't vote for that person. This happened on both sides, too.
Yeah.
We can't vote for her or we can't vote for him because of the other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like,
yeah.
It really didn't matter. They could have said, like, we want baby diapers to be $1 million each. And we've been like, well, I'm going to vote for you still because this person sucks.
Yeah, because I hate this person.
Because I hate this person
I
more.
can't tell you how many times I heard that. It's like,
So
I
many
hate
more.
both of them, but I hate him or I hate her more. So I'm going to vote for the one I hate
Yeah.
less.
Yeah, and
That's
it's just so strange.
If you're going to go in and vote with that mindset, why not just do your research then?
Or
And
just downvote.
True.
Just
That's
don't
true.
vote for the
Yeah.
president
Uh-huh.
and vote for everything else.
Yeah.
Because here's the reality of the situation. The true economist mentality in me is coming out. It's like your one vote's not going to make a difference, right? Like
Yes.
on the grand scheme of
Yes.
things, your
You're-
one
yes.
vote is really
That's
not
a-
going to make a big difference.
Which is a wrong mindset.
It's
to
a
have,
wrong
though, when
mindset.
you're
Go out and
a
vote.
voter.
Go out
Yeah.
and vote. But your one vote's not going to make a big difference.
Yes.
So what you should be voting for is your local elections, because that's where you have the direct impacts. Now, granted, obviously with this stimulus bill, there's a little bit more direct impact to the people. But I mean, think about it. What in the past 10 years? I mean, there's probably a couple things, but like, name 10 things in the past 10 years that have directly affected the citizens that have come down from the federal government.
Exactly. Yeah. People are
You
more
know?
focused on who's. Yeah. President. I mean, voting for the president is a huge thing, no matter
Yeah.
what. And I haven't voted for local government, so what I'm about to say is very hypocritical, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's nothing that I can think of that has affected me directly that Trump has done, that Obama has done directly, that's affected my
Yeah.
life more so than maybe something that. Oh God, this is gonna be really dumb. Crap, what's our governor's name? I know it.
Kemp?
Yes, Kemp has done more things that affect like my family.
Oh, of course.
Directly.
Well,
and just
Bottoms,
local,
Kemp,
yeah,
like all
exactly.
the local government people,
have
like
done way more.
yeah.
And that's people that you should really be voting for
Well,
more,
and that's
but
what you-
nobody does that.
That's what you should be paying attention to. Like even like the fact that you even hesitated on Kemp's name.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's like
I'm telling you, I knew it. It's
you
just
know
that-
it, but that's the thing. It's like you'll walk around on the street and say, "Who's our governor?" And people will go,
Eh?
"I don't know,"
Mm-hmm.
or like, "Who's the mayor of Atlanta?"
Mm-hmm.
No idea.
I don't know that one, honestly. I don't even know mayor of Atlanta.
Bottoms.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's mayor of Atlanta, but like nobody knows.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like,
Well,
I don't want to. Here's my thing. I don't want to hear you complain about the federal government until you know names of local government people that you've gone to vote for them. I don't want to hear you complain. You know what I mean?
That's fair. Yeah.
Because it's like if you're gonna complain about something, know something about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And the whole structure of government holds. Really, it doesn't go top down.
Mm-hmm.
The federal government does not support and uphold the state governments. It's backwards.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, all of those funnel up.
Mm-hmm.
Usually you'll have a senator or a congresswoman or congressman go and put in a bid for the presidency. You're not seeing people. I mean, obviously Trump was an outsider, but like, usually it funnels up. So people in those local governments. I think what was her name? She ran against Kemp. Blanking on the name right now.
Yeah. I don't know either.
See, like this is it. This is
Yeah,
what I'm talking
see?
about. It's like I can't complain.
We're not even that. Yeah. I would say, and this might be kind of disagreeing with you. I'd say if you're going to complain about federal government things in terms of presidents.
Stacey Abrams.
Oh,
That's-
gosh. I can't believe I didn't remember that either.
I know. That's the thing. We both know it,
Yeah.
but it slips our minds.
But I agree. I feel like if you're going to complain about somebody or something, you should have done whatever research that you're complaining about.
Yeah, right.
So, like, if, you're complaining specifically about certain policy, oh, I hate his immigration plan.
Sure.
Okay, what do you hate about it? Oh, I don't know. I just hate it. Okay,
like,
that's
okay.
where it's dumb.
Or
you should
like,
have done your research. You should
I
have
hate Hillary Clinton.
Uh-huh.
It's like,
But
oh,
you got to
okay.
ask why. And
Why?
if you have a reason, even if your sole reason is that, oh, I don't like the whole email thing. Okay. As long as as long as that's a reason and that's your only reason, you can't say anything else, because if you don't know, I feel like if you haven't done your research on
Yeah.
other things.
And we're talking, and obviously, like, oh, I don't like Trump. It's like we're not obviously saying anything partisan here, but like, when it comes down to research, what we mean by research is not looking at Snapchat, BuzzFeed
Oh,
news.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking going up, looking at impacts of different laws and how it's actually impacting. What's that? How are the people that are actually impacted by these different bills that are being proposed and implemented? How are the numbers turning out? What does that look like?
Yeah.
Because obviously, everything looks great on paper.
Yeah.
Everything from group projects to the presidency, everything. So until you get it out into the real world, / if you can even get it out into the real world, you'll never know. You'll never know. And so you got to do your research. You got to dive in and stop watching Daily Mail. Stop watching BuzzFeed. Those are not news outlets. Those are not news outlets.
Mine's TikTok, so.
Oh yeah, obviously. Well,
TikTok's very reliable.
TikTok's
yeah.
very reliable.
The
obviously.
people on there,
Pizzagate for sure
100%.
is real. But no, it's like, do your research. And obviously that's annoying. It takes time. It takes a lot of reading. Like, read the entire, what was it? The Russian collusion, the special counsel. That they put out the huge 400-page dossier of their findings.
Bro, you
with
ain't
the
convincing
Russian
anybody
probe.
on here to read that 400 pages.
No, nobody's gonna read it, and that's exactly my point. It's like everybody's like, this dossier or summary of findings said X, and I'm like, okay, where did it say that? Where did it say that?
That's a good. That's kind of the point. I'm arguing. You don't talk about something that if you haven't done your research about.
And of course, I'm never going to talk about anything in that thing.
Yeah.
I'm not. You're not going to catch me doing it because I haven't read it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be completely honest.
I didn't even notice.
It's the same concept. It's the same idea of, and this pisses me off too, is when people go, or I'll say, hey Mitchell, did you see the new movie X? And you go, yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, and then you ask them about it. Oh, I saw parts.
What was your
I
favorite
saw
part?
the ending. Yeah. Oh, I only saw the ending.
Well, actually, I actually only saw, the first 10 minutes. I'm like, okay, you didn't see it.
Yeah.
You didn't see it.
Exactly.
And that's what people are saying. They're only seeing the first 10 minutes of life. They're seeing a headline. They're reading 3 lines into the paper. That's a 5 or 6 page paper. Mm-hmm. And they're not looking at sources for articles that are written by reputable sources like Wall Street Journal or all these things. They're not looking at sources. So it's like, why are we surprised when we're misled on a daily basis?
Yeah.
Like, why are we go, well, how is fake news happening? It's like, because nobody reads anymore. Nobody reads anything. And I'm going to be the first person. I'm not placing blame on anybody.
Oh, I do that.
I do it all the time.
Same. I'll read headlines.
Yeah.
I'll watch short clips that are edited and not watch full videos.
That's the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, there are countless times where I have gone on YouTube or have, glanced at something on I don't have any social media anymore because it's really annoying. But when I had social media, an image would pop up, like a screen grab from a video, or that's awful, or a short snippet of a larger video, and then I'll be like, that's awful, like that's disgusting. But then you go and you look into, and because that's the thing, I have a natural curiosity, so I'm like, okay, obviously there's more to this video, and so I go find the real one, dude. The video is like 5 minutes long.
It's the other way around.
And it's totally 180.
100%.
And I'm like, and whether that's a person speaking,
Yep.
Something that happens with the police,
Yeah.
a police interaction, or like whatever. And I'm like, this is dirty.
Yeah, I agree.
Like,
I've seen it with both sides,
both
especially,
sides,
especially in the
bipartisan
campaign stuff now. Like, I
yeah.
used to only look into maybe like Trump things, but like, and then I'd see things like on TikTok of Biden saying something dumb. I'm like, wow, how in the world did he say that? There are times that, you don't see the full clip. And I've gone back and watched the whole clip, and I was like, okay, even us, even people that, support Trump are taking that out of context. Biden didn't mean to say it like that, and he didn't say it like that. You watch the full thing.
I mean, of course, like, I'm interested in seeing how Biden, just on a totally split down the middle, nonpartisan view, I'm curious to see how Biden's going to do against Trump in debates.
The debate. I know they've been talking about that. I'm really excited to see how that goes.
I'm nervous. I'm nervous for Biden. Because this is the thing, because obviously we live in a clip culture. So if we're going to base our opinions off of clips, I think most people, especially you Bernie bros out there, can definitely agree Biden's appears to be incompetent.
Yes.
And that's not partisan.
That's mainly based off clips, but it could very well be true.
Yeah,
I mean, if you watch full things,
it could be true.
He does say some dumb things.
But that's the thing. I want to think it's not true, because I want him to get up there and I want him to have an actual discussion that's substantive.
Well, I want to know that it's not true, because in the case that he does become president, I don't want to sit there and think, oh God, like, dude, we got a stupid dude as president now.
Yeah,
like,
right.
I want to see the debate. I want to see both people know what they're talking about and do well, because ultimately someone's going to get elected, and ultimately not everyone's going to support that person. But I don't want to feel like we got someone stupid.
If 50% of the people think that Trump is a disease, right, and he's awful, which is fine. You're totally welcome to that opinion. I'm not commenting on that part of it. All I'm saying is, if you think he's the disease, then, and you're concerned for Biden over these like literal competency.
Yeah.
Like, we can't let the disease or the cure be worse than the disease.
Yes.
And that's being repeated with the coronavirus too. Frankly, probably not going to take a vaccine when it comes out because I don't want to die. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to get bugged. I don't, obviously that's a little conspiracy theorist of me because, it's just
starting
funny,
to happen, though, the whole being bugged thing. I saw something. People are getting these chips in their hand right here.
Oh, to go to work?
Yes, and it's like a key to their house, like, and it has their credit card information. And my friend Matt a while ago told me about this, and he's like, I believe the world is going to be coming to an end. Jesus is coming back and stuff when people start chipping humans and the government starts tracking. And I saw that video and I was like, yo, it's about to start happening. Like, this lady had the chip and she went up to pay for something. She just put her hand on it. And it's real. It's not like a commercial. Like, she to her house to open up a key thing. She's like, oh my God, check it out. My hand's a key.
So have you seen Elon Musk's, like, him come on Joe Rogan's podcast?
I have seen one of them. I don't know which one I don't know if it was the one that came back or the first one, but I did watch. God, I'm doing the whole movie thing. I saw a part of it. I didn't see the end. I know all of Joe Rogan's podcasts for the most part are hours long.
Yeah.
I remember sitting through and having it played on the background and listening for the whole entire episode of one of them. And so it's something you might bring up now I might recognize.
So I kind of refuse to listen to his full podcast.
Okay.
Because they're so undigestible. Like, they're so long and they're not coherent. You know what I mean? Like, they're not a topicked podcast.
Oh,
they're
it's
like,
everywhere.
It's all over the place.
Yeah.
And so, kind of like this, except this is shorter. And sorry, Joe Rogan, you're great. And I was like, he came on. So Elon Musk came back a second time. So he came on once, got blasted because he smoked weed, and then now he came on a second time, which I'm surprised he did. And he was talking about one of his companies is doing, it's like this. He was talking about how they'll cut out a piece of your skull, and they said human trials are probably coming 2021. Scary. But he said they cut out a piece of your skull and they put in a chip in the space, right, where they cut out, small, inch by inch or something, something small, and it'll connect to different parts of your brain. So, like, they're saying he was touting that.
I think I don't think it's from the podcast that I heard this. I think I heard this in like an article or someone else was talking about this.
So he was talking about it on his podcast, and he was saying like they could potentially cure anything from like stutters, blindness, mental retardation issues. It's like they can cure all of these different things with a simple chip and tapping into different parts of your brain. And the second I heard that, I was like, George Orwell, you're the man. You are the man. Like, it's just so creepy to start seeing, and I'm sure people felt this way in the 80s too. Like my parents, they saw this happening, but it's like, the technology that's being created is in exact lockstep with like these early science fiction writers and saying like, we're starting to go off this is going to take us off the rails. Like AI starting to go crazy. I think a supercomputer had a synapse or something like a couple of years ago.
iRobot might be hitting us sooner than we think.
And so I'm like,
as long as I can be Will Smith in that movie, I'm cool.
I wish, dude. Honestly, he's a goat.
Oh yeah, but
a big fan. Far. Also, sorry, Will. I know shit's going on with Jada and whatever's going on with your wife. I hope you do well.
Still love you.
Still love you.
Great.
Still love you.
Greatest. I think one of the greatest actors of all time, if not the greatest.
Oh, he's goat. But yeah, dude. Honestly, when it comes to just the world, like honestly, just to sum everything up, the state of the world, so strange. Mm-hmm. So like every
stranger
single
than it's ever been.
So strange. Like literally, I was driving down the street the other day, and I was driving past. I saw just a wreck. Like this lady drove into a telephone pole that's like 30 feet off the road. Like, it wasn't close to the side of the road to where you accidentally hit a telephone pole.
It's like you're aiming for it.
And I was like, dang, lady.
Good aim.
Good aim. Like, you should get a prize. Everybody was safe. But I was like, what the hell is going on? And then, literally, down that same road, there were 3 black suited, like, head to toe with the collar, like,
Men in Black coming
priests.
to erase something.
And I was like, and they were in lockstep. Three priests in lockstep just walking down the street. Full black garb with the collars. I was like, the heck is going on here?
Yeah,
like,
that's
what is
really
happening?
Strange.
there's a world right now. It's so strange.
They're gonna start running out of movies to make because the way technology's getting and the way things like what are they gonna come up with now? Because all the crazy technology, iRobot stuff like that's coming true now.
I would say the flip. I would say the world is giving us way too much content.
Oh, we're gonna go back to caveman movies. Oh, look, this is when the fire. We don't use. Yeah.
Just fire. I'm like, what is?
That might be why I love the 100. Even though I'm in the part where it's actually more advanced than modern day, the 100 was literally Have you ever heard of the show The 100?
No.
Really quick recap. I'm not gonna harp on it too much. Basically, the world was ending. Nuclear bombs everywhere, and so they shot tons of people up into space, and they were all living in space. Then years later, because the world was uninhabitable because of the radiation.
Right.
So later on, they send 100 people down, delinquents though, because to see if they can survive on the world. So they send 100 people down. There's
like
nothing.
A debtor's colony.
Yeah, basically, and there's
so Australia.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So they send them down. And there's nothing. They literally have to build campfires. They have to start, they start learning a different language. There's, of course, people that survive the bombing, and so they're like mutated and weird.
What?
And they have to find their own guns, spears, and stuff, and then it works its way up. But yeah, it was like their show now. They're basing it off of no technology and absolutely nothing. How things were back when Adam and Eve and all
Adam and Eve were getting it on their rock bed, baby.
Something to think about. If you look at pictures of Adam and Eve. Why do they have belly buttons? That makes no sense.
Conspiracy. The Illuminati confirmed. Well, anyway, that's a great way to wrap it up.
I think so. Give you something to think about.
Yeah, just give you something to think about here at the end. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate, as always, anybody who tunes in and watches the show. If you would, pass it along. We have our new YouTube channel that's up. Which
this has been recorded, so it will be up on YouTube.
Yep,
Please come watch.
Yeah, so give us a watch. Check it out. Share. Send us an email. mancardpod@gmail.com. Send us an email with any ideas. Love to hear from you, and we'll see you next week.
Sayonara.